All right, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I see what happened there. Play. Oh, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and transition over. If I could find freaking OBS. YouTube room. All right. Well, hi. Welcome to the stream. No one's in call today, but that's okay. But we're going to be playing some Call Eric's Malice again today. We're going to play Okazaki's route. And I actually had an announcement to make today, but it's okay. If you're watching this after the stream is published, my little announcement is that starting next week, I'm going to be doing not as long streams. I'm going to be focusing on just like some shorter streams because 3 hours is a very long time. So starting next week, I'm going to be scheduling some shorter streams. They're going to be hour, maybe 2 at max. But yeah, we're not going to do as long as 3 hours. I may still do it for Fire Emblem simply because it's such a long game otherwise. In 3 hours, we'd barely even get a snippet of what we're supposed to be getting done. Also because like I have activities on Monday and my friends are getting irritated with me being late on Monday. So starting next week, their streams will be shorter. But also, I'm going to be doing some streams with friends. I'm going to be scheduling some streams with a few of my friends so we can like play some games together starting next week. As well as, I have to double check if I can do it, but I want to do a karaoke stream. And it's going to be a lot easier if it's just like an hour or something. I have to make sure that I get karaoke tracks that are okay to use on my channel without me getting a copyright strike. But of course, what is the strike? And I take down the stream. Not that big of a deal. But yeah, I'm going to be doing that starting next week. So I'm very excited. I still have to talk to my friends about it, but we're going to organize a Monster Prom or Monster Camp game session. And I'm very excited. All right. I have snacks next to me. I've got a full water bottle. Let's go ahead and transition over to the stream. If I could just press a button. There we go. All right. Let's transition over. Brilliant. Okay. So that is up now. Is everything else okay? Everything is transitioned over. I'm back to studio mode. All right, we're gonna get started. We hop right back into the game. Let's go. Whoop, whoop. Okay. I can listen to what people are talking about. When I stated it clearly, the three of oh my God, we're off to a great start. The 3 of them were clearly caught off guard. Yesterday, when I looked through the X-Day files, what jumped out to me was a person that was neither the victim nor the assailant. The victim in this incident was a woman who was once the victim of an obsessive stalker.
7月の事件のことか。
Is it quiet? Hold on. It's kind of fun. Okay, maybe that's better. Who knows? Yes. For a time, she was suspected to be involved in the murder of the stalker. She also suffered severe backlash from the public. People were alleging that she might have been stalked through some fault of her own. Her background was thoroughly checked, but no connections were found to either the terrorist nor the man who killed the stalker. After that, her description was excused from official documents. Whether or not she was connected to the incident, it had taken a heavy toll on her reputation. The police bear some responsibility for failing to stop the stalker in the first place. I wondered if I could meet her and ask her about what had really happened. Besides, nobody else is working on this case. It wouldn't waste the team's time, and I was sure my position would help me find some information. That was another reason I wanted to take this on. The assailant was arrested at the scene of the crime, and is currently still in detention. He had tried to commit suicide, like the detained September suspect did, and was still being held in a detention center. Whether it was actually self-defense is unknown. I want to learn the truth of this incident. After my lengthy proposal, the other three seemed to be slightly impressed.
確かに7月はその女性を中心とした事件であることは間違いない。
The music feels so loud to me. Hold on. Why must I always have issues with how things are sounding? Gosh darn it. Okay, options. Game settings. That's all fine. Volume. Voice setting. No, sound settings. They're all on high. Okay. I'm turning them all on max. I don't care anymore. They're all on max. I'm tired of not being able to hear them. Oh, that sounds like that. We'll keep the others like that. Confirm. Let's see how that feels. Let me just test it actually.
確かに7月はその女性を中心とした事件であることは間違いない。
Yeah, that feels a lot better. Yonagi's so freaking soft spoken and then Enomoto's always screaming, so I never know.
一見するとストーカーをこじらせた人物が女性に危害を加えようとして返り討ちにあった。それだけの事件にも見えるが。
殺されたストーカー男の部屋からは X デー事件を象徴するコインが発見されてる。模倣犯じゃないのは確実だ。
つまりだな、これまで同様に計画性のある X デー事件だってこと。どうだ、わかったか？
Got it. はい。
何偉そうに言ってんだ、単細胞バカが。
Sir! Stop it!
うるせえな。新人教育っつったら俺の出番だろうが。
Not being a bully, Takeru.
ま、バカとバカがくっついてくれた方が俺は助かる。
口やかましいワカメだなったく。
Oh Lord.
つっても7月の事件の情報については俺たちもあんまり把握できてないんだよな。加害者が交流中だからか、警察内部の動きもやたら鈍いみたいでさ。
Has Shiraishi given you anything?
あいつは今9月の事件に夢中で他の事件に興味を示さない。
I see.
正直お前が内部から情報を集めてくれるなら助かる。
Sorry, moving my mic. Okay. With that, the meeting ended. It was late, so Yanagi decided he'd walk me home. December 7th incident has been added to materials. While we walked down the stairs, Yanagi looked back at me with a concerned look.
榎本も言っていたが、7月の事件は俺たちの方でもあまり深く調べてなくてな。
There's a suspect in custody after all.
渡せる情報は少ないが、何かあったら連絡してくれ。首輪のこともある。無茶はするなよ。
Thank you. I was happy for his concern, but it really didn't resonate with me for some reason. A part of me has been relying on Yanagi's team. Not in a tangible way, but I'd been tagging along. But that didn't sit right with me.
ところで星野、岡崎圭とやけに親しいみたいだったが。
I would say familiar. Huh? No. I just happened to run into him a few times. We're not on particularly close terms.
とぼけた顔して強引だからな。気づけば懐に入られやすい。岡崎には気をつけろ。隙を見せない方がいい。
Huh? What do you?
俺が何？
Called it.
What?
Hi, sir. We turned around to face the voice. Okazaki was standing there, smiling. I failed to notice him again.
お前、いつの間に。
さっきからずっとここに立ってたんだけどな。
Yanagi also seemed shocked that he'd failed to notice Okazaki. Okay, so it's not just me. I definitely can't get careless around him.
もう帰るの？だったら俺が送ってくよ。
いや、星野は俺が送っていく。
でも、柳さんは彼女の家を知らないよね。
お前は知ってるのか？
No, he. Well. No, he. Well. Well, he did walk me home one time because it was late.
じゃあ行こうか。
I don't wanna.
勝手に決めるな。本人に案内してもらえば済む話だ。
でも知ってる人と一緒に帰った方が案内しなくていいから楽だよね。
Oh God. Right now, I was walking down the street between Yanagi and Okazaki. I am in a handsome sandwich. In the end, they couldn't decide which of them would walk me home. Awkward. No matter how much I refused, I was beginning to realize that Okazaki was going to follow me wherever I went.
あのさ、前から思ってたんだけど。
Okazaki addressed Yanagi from my other side.
柳さんは俺のことが嫌いだよね。
嫌いとかじゃなくてだな。
I understood what Yanagi wanted to say. He's doing this because he's worried about the collar. I would be in danger if the collar was exposed. Also, Yanagi didn't seem to accept the reason that Okazaki had provided for why he was protecting the team. It's not that he disliked him, but he probably just can't trust him.
お前が俺たちを監視しているのは知ってる。関わり合いになりたくないのは当然だろう。
ああ、もしかして俺が君たちのこと全部警察に報告するって思ってるの？
Are you not?
そう思うのが普通だ。
まあとりあえず俺の任務のことは置いておくとして。
そこは置いといちゃダメじゃないか？
とにかくね、俺は純粋に君たちのことを知りたいんだ。
なんでだ？
人として興味があるからかな。
While Yanagi and I were at a loss for an answer, Okazaki changed the subject.
さっき7月の事件がどうのって言ってたけど、もしかして再捜査してるの？
I involuntarily stiffened up. Just how long had he been eavesdropping on the conversation? No, it was just something I'd taken personal interest in, so I was asking Yanagi about it. Okazaki smiled softly as I fumbled around for an excuse.
そんなに慌てないで。君の仕事に口出すつもりはないよ。何か事情があるんでしょ？同じ警察官だからって話せないことはあるし。
Worried is not the word I'd use.
そんなに警戒しなくても大丈夫。興味本位で聞いてみただけだから。
Yanagi was very obviously having a hard time swallowing Okazaki's supposed flighting bouts of curiosity. His face said he was confused because he didn't know what Okazaki was thinking.
7月の事件か。でもあれって正当防衛だって言われてるよね。
I press X to doubt.
加害者はすでに捕まってて、ストーカー被害に遭った女性を守るためにやったことだって自白してる。あとは過剰防衛かどうかだけど、守るためにやったことなのに罪に問われるのは少しかわいそうだな。
かわいそう？正当防衛だからといって殺人は殺人だ。許されるものじゃない。
かわいそう。Sorry. I'm translating in my head all the things they're saying in Japanese to see if they're matching up with the English translation. It's a long line for just calling someone pitiful. Yanagi's tone was unusually forceful. His expression grew stern.
それに加害者の男はもともと5月の事件で容疑者候補に上がっていた。X 邸事件の一つと考えれば誰が見ても怪しいのは事実だ。
I really hope my Mike can't pick up the noise in the background.
あくまで容疑者候補だし、5月の事件では確かなアリバイもあったよね。それに彼がストーカーに襲われてた女性を守ったのも事実でしょ。守るために必要な犠牲もあるよ。
だからって殺されていいわけじゃない。人の命を奪うのに正当な理由なんて一つもない。
I would disagree. Self-defense is a very valid reason to take someone's life. If someone is trying to kill you, like if that is the only way to save yourself, I'd do it. To protect as well, if someone is trying to harm others, and the only way for them to stop is if they die, I'd also do it. Like there are very justifiable reasons to kill. I understand like his point of view though. That's like you shouldn't take a life. There's no good reason to take a life. And granted, in a way, yes, there isn't a good reason because there's no good that comes from killing, no matter if it was in good intent or not. But like there are reasons that would make it understandable. That's what I'm gonna say. I went on my tangent. They continued their debate across me. Neither looked like they would back down. They seem to be incompatible. The way they think is completely opposite. Both of them have valuable perspectives about the July case. I reflected on that discretion. I see Yanagi and Okazaki off and headed back to my apartment. Near my house, I saw a silhouette. Kazuki! Oh, Kazuki! He's back early today. I felt relief as I went to talk to him.
それじゃあ、明日スタジオで。楽しみにしてる。
It's Shota. I love Shota. He's so cute. I love his music. The moment I found out that Shota was the one who played this character, I was so happy. I noticed that Kazuki was talking to someone. He dresses loudly. Is that Kazuki's friend? But I recognized him from somewhere. While I was thinking about that, both of them headed off. Did I read that right? While I was thinking about that, both of them head off. What should I do? I missed my chance. Kazuki stays out often recently, and he also goes out late at night too. If he's hanging out with the wrong people. Walk through. I feel like I should follow Kazuki and not Ishiki, which I think is his name. I believe his name is Ishiki. Yeah, follow Kazuki. Oh, shit. Follow Kazuki. There we go. Right. It feels like the timing is right. I should try and ask him. He'd tell me not to get involved or that it didn't concern me and try to change the subject. I sighed at the predictable outcome while I followed Kazuki inside. Oh! Kazuki, we chant.
今日執行者が起こしたという事件。
Kazuki!
私は何も聞いていないのですが。
Oh, okay, we got villains on screen now. But God damn it, can Kazuki just be like, I know he's a teenager, but like, you are in a terrorist situation, sir. Be respectful to your older sister.
12月のカウントダウンは一つだったはずです。それなのになぜ？
Oh, and also welcome to the stream.
増やす？どういう意味ですか？あなたの命令に執行者は動きます。それだけは私もコントロールできません。分かっていてやっているのでしょう。彼女？ああ、
首輪の実験体ですね。彼女が7月を気にしていたんですか？やけに彼女のことを気にするんですね。いえ、何でもありません。ゼロ。長年の悲願が果たされる日は目前です。雑事に惑わされずことを進めてください。たとえ私たちが選ぶ道をたがえても、昔誓ったあの約束だけは。
Ooh, scary villains. December 8th, 7 a.m. The next day, I was listening to the news on TV while making breakfast for Kazaki.
7月に起きた X デー事件の一つと言われるストーカー男性傷害致死事件の裁判は依然として難航しており、
Was it justified self-defense or not? That point was still undetermined. No progress, huh? I turned off the I turned off the gas stove and transferred the omelet to a plate. Kazuki, breakfast is ready. You should eat it before it gets cold. I waited for a while, but no answer came. With a sigh, I returned to the living room to get ready to go to work. When I get to the station, the first thing I should do is read more about the July incident in the database. I want to speak to detectives who were on the case at the time, but they might get suspicious if I approach them without a legitimate reason. Still, it's best to ask someone who was there. I walked, thinking about my next steps. Ah! I wasn't paying attention as I walked. I'm sorry.
あれあれ、結構可愛いじゃん。よかったら俺たちと遊びに行かない？
Back up, sir. Back up. I'll pass. I'm on the way to work.
そんなのサボっちゃえばよくない？
I just walked into a load of trouble. It might be quicker to show I'm a police officer, but if they had some animosity towards the police, it would invite even further trouble. I'm in a hurry. When I just tried to push past the two insistent men, one of them grabbed my arm.
ぶつかっておいてさ、その態度はないんじゃないの？
He raised his voice. Then...
いって！
Oh! The man let go of my arm with a genuine yelp of pain, unlike earlier.
女の子への暴力って好きじゃないな。
Aw, he's a protector. We love. Oh God, why is he so pretty though? He's so pretty. Okazaki. Okazaki had suddenly appeared from behind, twisting the man's arm. He casually sent the man flying away with one hand.
こいつ！
Okazaki dodged the punch from the side with ease and sent the second man hurling into a wall with a kick.
てめえ！
Whee! He effortlessly threw the third man who rushed at him from behind. His movements were so fluid, I thought I was watching a dance performance.
ダメだよ。女の子を困らせたら。
Exactly. Leave me alone. I didn't do anything wrong. I said I was sorry. Okazaki gently scolded them without showing any sign of needing to catch his breath. The men scrambled away, each trying to outpace the other.
大丈夫だった？
Okazaki turned to me with a look of genuine concern. Thank you very much. You saved me.
君に怪我がなくてよかった。
But what are you doing here? It seemed I'd mischaracterized him. Rather than appearing and disappearing like a ghost, it was more like he was always around. Don't tell me he's like this with everyone.
これから仕事？
Yes.
実は俺も新宿署に用があったんだ。
Really? Mm-hmm. I'll believe it when I see it, sir. Huh? What a coincidence. It seemed that I had been overly self-conscious.
ね、どうせだったら一緒に行こう。
Saying that, he turned to me and offered his hand for some reason. Why the hand? I just stared at it for a moment. Then Yanagi. When did Yanagi get here? I think that's a typo. Yanagi. I think that's supposed to say Okazaki. Then Okazaki just grabbed my hand. That's funny. I like that.
君は危なっかしいからね。手をつないで歩こう。
No, don't grab my hand. My hands are now sweaty. Don't grab my hand, sir. No, thank you. It's not any safer this way. In response to me saying that, he simply grabbed my hand even more tightly and began tugging me as he walked.
君の手、少し冷たいね。
Well, it's like what? December? It's winter, my dude. Okazaki. He was acting like this was nothing, but he was unwilling to let go of my hand.
もう12月だもんな。俺は寒いの平気なんだけど、吉成くんは辛いって言ってた。
Yeah, as a man who can't wear a coat, I wonder why Yoshinari always complains, bitch, you don't even wear your coat. What is with the men in this game and refusing to wear their coats? Like, it's fucking winter. Wear your coat. I was sure that I was signaling my displeasure, but Okazaki ignored it and kept talking. He really was stubborn. Isn't it a little hard to be a bodyguard while you're holding hands?
これは警護のためじゃないよ。ただ俺がつなぎたいだけ。
This man is just casually flirting with me. Stop it. Go away. I see. When he said it that aggressively, I found myself stupidly unwilling to resist for some reason. You're too easy to flirtation, Ichika. This will be embarrassing if someone sees us.
あんまりぼんやり歩いてたらダメだよ。人にぶつかったら危ないし、さっきみたいな人にまた絡まれちゃう。
Why would I have to worry? You're right next to me. Huh? If he had seen me walking while I was spaced out, so he was tailing me after all. Am I under surveillance? Okazaki smiled in a comforting way. Maybe my doubts had shown on my face.
別に後をつけたりしてないよ。たまたま見つけただけだから安心して。
Sure. That's what they all say. I'm sorry.
いいよ。でも本当は許されるんだったら、四六時中後をつけて守ってあげたいぐらい。
I can't! Guys flirting with me! It's funny because if you looked at any of my friends and me and how we talk normally, I am the flirty one. I so easily flirt with people. But like, why do I get so easily flustered with pretty men? Pretty men and hot women. That I like pretty boys and I like hot women. That's my type. That and apparently people who abuse me with words. That's really my type. What?
君ってしっかりして見えるけど、意外と隙があるから心配なんだ。
I appreciate the thought, but I must decline your offer. Knowing Okazaki, if I accepted, he'd seriously follow me around 24 hours a day.
じゃあ今のところはやめておくね。
Thank God.
でもさっきみたいなことがまたあったら本気で警護を考えちゃうかも。
Okay, I'll be careful. I'll try not to show any I'll try not to show you any openings next time.
それはそれで少し残念だな。
Okazaki smiled gently, as always. I couldn't tell if he was joking or not. Somehow, it's... I keep getting tongue-tied. Somehow, I seem to always allow him to do whatever he wants and let him dictate everything. We'd only met a few days ago, but it felt like every time we met, he was leading me around. He always approached me without hesitation. I'd failed to refuse. And then this would happen.
岡崎には気をつけろ。隙を見せない方がいい。
I recalled what Yanagi said. I know that I have to be cautious, but his palm was warm. So were some of his smiles and words. I didn't think they were coming from ill will.
どうかした？
While I was mulling over it, I startled as he examined my face. That's an odd sentence. I was so startled that I suddenly gripped his hand tightly. When I did, he returned the grip, smiling all the while. Suddenly, I just felt even worse. Your hand,
て？
Oh shit. Why do I even do this? Isn't this inappropriate? Isn't this inappropriate for an SP officer?
え？
Oh, doesn't an SP officer need to have both hands free at all times?
そうだね。でもこのくらいは平気だよ。危険が迫ってるかどうかはすぐにわかるし。
Oh, I see. I've heard that you're good at detecting danger. If it's you, I feel like you'd protect your subject and be able to escape from danger. I just blurted out whatever I could think of to hide my embarrassment. Suddenly, Okazaki's smile disappeared. But it was only for an instant.
どんな状況でも守るよ。
Okay. Simp. Moving on. I want to talk. He whispered, his tone deeply gently. Deeply gentle.
それが俺の仕事だからね。
Okay. Moving on. His smile was the same as usual, but I had noticed something different for a moment. Something similar must have happened before.
それにさ、こうしてると落ち着かない？
Huh?
不安そうな顔をしてる子を見ると、こうして手をつないで安心させてあげたいなって思うんだ。
Uh-huh. Not because you wanted to hold my hand. Sure.
手をつなぐと一人じゃないって思えて、ちょっとは怖い気持ちがなくなるでしょ？
To help me relax. I thought he was treating me like a child, but then I thought back to how I'd gotten mixed up with those thugs. Honestly, this isn't really relaxing at all, but it does help a bit. The warmth of his hand had indeed spread to my heart. Okazaki grinned in response.
ならよかった。
While I walked with Okazaki, I occasionally glanced at our hands. My embarrassment slowly eroded as I normalized this behavior, and it was replaced with relief. So he really was just worried about me. Obviously, I had been a little scared when those two men surrounded me. As a cop, it felt kind of lame, but I wasn't sure I could skillfully exit the situation. Now, though, I felt calm. It's thanks to Okazaki. Maybe he had noticed how I was feeling and reached out to me to help, while acting like it was for his own satisfaction. Maybe I've wronged him. No, you haven't. He's a simp. Regardless of Okazaki's true intentions, it was true that he had protected me. Still, It wouldn't be a stretch to say I was betraying the police. Was I still someone worth protecting? Maybe I've taken advantage of his kindness. Perhaps I had used the stubbornness as an excuse and ultimately failed to reject his advances because deep down, a part of me wanted to trust him. When I was with him, I could relax just a little and not think about my collar, the ex-day crimes, and my precarious situation. I'm really not cautious enough, am I? I'm fine now. We were inside of the police station now, so I broke free from his hand. If my colleagues saw me now, I had no idea how they would react. A breeze whipped through my warm hand, and the cool sensation now made me feel a tinge of loneliness.
ちょっと残念だけど、誰かに見られたら困っちゃうもんね。
Maybe he really was concerned for me. He was worried about my appearances, so I guess he hadn't done it out of selfishness. Sure, keep telling yourself that, Ichika. It was hard to tell what this man was thinking, but I sensed his actions stemmed from goodwill.
ごめんね。無理やり引っ張ってきちゃって。
You better be. No, you were just worried. Thank you for holding my hand.
言ったでしょ。俺がつなぎたかっただけ。
I hate holding hands. I absolutely hate it. I don't mind sometimes, but my palm, I am naturally very cold. And so when I even get the slightest bit warm on my palms, they get so sweaty and I get so insecure. It is really bad. I always wear gloves so that way when people hold my hand, it's like they don't feel it and I get nervous. No. Okazaki kindly smiled, still pretending to be obstinate. I returned his words with a slight smile and started to cross the street when it was green. Then suddenly a commotion broke out around us. Seeing Okazaki reach for his holster, I also readied myself. I looked over and saw smoke. A fire!
火事？やばくない？すぐ近くじゃん。ねえ、ちょっと携帯見て。また動画サイトで変なの流れてる。
Oh boy.
やだ。
Oh no.
なんか燃えてる。これも X デーのやつなの
？Right. I quickly started to take out my phone, but I could hear a voice already playing on the bystander's phone.
X デー。再生の日まであと23日。
That was...
カウントダウン。また X デー事件が起きたのかもしれない。
I hurriedly searched for the video on my phone. It showed a fire burning at a familiar-looking park. I'll call it in. Yes, I'm close to the place in the video now. Fire in the residential area near Shinjuku PD. I'm en route to the scene.
わかった。捜査本部に通達する。俺もすぐに向かうからな。気をつけろよ。
Yes, sir.
俺も行くよ。
Okazaki nodded firmly, and we set off. The fire had broke out into the park within the residential area. Articulate your words, please, Kira. It had just started burning, so firefighters and police hadn't arrived yet. Instead, neighbors and bystanders were gathering around the park to watch. Police! It's dangerous! Everyone! Please stay back! Okazaki and I raised our voices as we pushed our way through the crowd to the source of the fire. What looked like a human figure had been left in the front of the restrooms.
待って。
As soon as I tried to run over to the figure, Okazaki quickly pulled me back.
近づくと危ない。
But somebody's in there!
火の勢いが普通じゃない。匂いからして周囲にガソリンが撒かれてる。 それもかなり広範囲に。密閉空間じゃないから爆発の恐れはないけど、火元の周りに紙束みたいな燃えかすが大量に散らばってるのは見えるよね。トイレ内にまだ何かが、それこそ爆発物が仕掛けられてる可能性もある。火の中心にいる人物が全く動かないのは、もう息絶えてるか、一酸化中毒で意識不明のどちらか。
I beg to differ. Oh, whoops, I think I cut him off.
火の中心にいる人物が全く動かないのは、もう息絶えてるか、一酸化中毒で意識不明のどちらか。どう見ても助からない。
Okazaki was incredibly calm, and he coolly analyzed the situation. He was probably right too. But what if it's possible that we can still save them? I frantically looked around for the fire extinguisher, but I couldn't see anything of the like. Pouring water on gasoline fire was a bad idea, but maybe I could smother the fire. Ugh. As I hesitated, the fire spread to a nearby tree and grew fiercer. We have to do something. We have to help. In my confusion, I tried to approach the fire again, but Okazaki's grip only grew stronger. Let me go!
今君にできることは何もない。
So is there something that you can do? Okazaki, I'm sure we could save.
俺にもあの人を助けることはできない。他にしなくちゃいけないことがあるから。
I really wish my model could look angry. That was one thing that was like a sad part about my model design. Like this was just like one I got for streaming purposes until I can afford getting a custom model of my actual character, of the real Kyoto Yushiya. But hello. But yeah, one thing that I just wish my model could look angry to match my facial expressions, but she can only look very happy or incredibly sad. Like that's all I can do with this model. I wish she could be like more angry, more violent. When I get a custom model, that's one of the things I'm definitely gonna ask for. One day I'll get a custom model, but right now it's way too expensive. One day. Still looking around at artists and riggers to see what I want. I'm not sure what kind of artist I want. I'm looking around, but we'll find out. We'll see. What other priorities? What could possibly be more important than saving that person?
冷静になって。
This might have been the first time I'd ever heard Okazaki sound angry. I stiffened in surprise.
落ち着いて。ここには他にもたくさんの人たちがいる。彼らの安全を優先させるのが俺たちの仕事だよ。今君がしなくちゃいけないことがある。君にしかできないことがあるんだよ。
I hate that you're right, because Ichigo's a normal freaking human being. All right. Prioritize the evacuation. This is what I can do now. After Okazaki helped me regain my composure, I assessed the situation around me. I realized I wouldn't be able to put out the fire by myself. The priority now was to evacuate the local residents to prevent secondary casualties. It hurt to turn away from what might be a dying person, but I couldn't lose sight of my duty. I'll lead the evacuation.
大丈夫。俺もついてるから。
My hands were still trembling, so Okazaki held them both tightly.
君はちゃんと状況が見えてる。今は俺たちにできることをしよう。ね。
Yes. We each took a part of the crowd and led them out of the park.
火のそばには近づかないでください。ここは危険です。早く避難を。
Get out of the park, everyone! Stay calm so that you don't trip! Then, some of the cinders in the air landed near my feet. They looked like papers, like the papers around the victim, but I noticed they were fragments of a written note. Ugh. The note was apparently written by a very shaky handwriting. I love you so much, I want to kill you. The scrap quickly burned to ashes. Charred paper has been added to materials. Chapter 2! Yay! What time is it? 4:45. All right. We still got a little bit of time before I go on break. Yay! Oh, do we get the keyboard? Wait for it. Oh. Oh, no keyboard. No fun. Where's all the clacking? It's half the fun of hearing this. X-Day incident report of July. Before July. Of July. 'Tis July? I don't know. Something July. X-Day incident report. Report of the X-Day incidents. No shit. July 1st, a man who had been obsessively stalking a woman was killed by a passerby. The assailant was arrested at the scene, but I know that word. Circumstantial. There, I did it. I sounded it out. Are we proud of me? I'm learning to read on stream. Circumstantial evidence and witness accounts suggest it was a justified act of self-defense. However, the assailant was arrested as a suspect for the May X-Day crime and is awaiting trial. He is currently being held in jail. After the incident, the Roman numeral is 5, so it's 6, and an Adonis coin were found at the victim's residence. For this reason, the assailant and the woman being stalked were suspected of having Adonis ties, but no evidence has been found to support this. In early August, Adonis uploaded a statement which claimed this incident as a part of the countdown.
正当防衛なのに一時でも身柄を拘束される理不尽だと思いませんか彼は一人の女性を救ったヒーローだというのに女性は昔からストーカー被害を訴えていたにもかかわらず警察は取り合わなかった我々アドニスはこの悲しみを見過ごせず被害者に代わり裁きを下しました
I don't know why, but I just checked my sound settings because I just had the strange thought that like, what if my mic's been off this entire time? what if my mic has been off this entire time and I was just talking to myself and no one could hear me and no one told me? Because I can see people doing that to me.
X デーのカウントダウン6
Oh, it's 6. Yeah, that's 8 is 8, isn't it? Okay, well, it's 6.
そして今月はカウントダウン5近々再び裁きが下ります
This incident would be well known to the public. They would know the threat was amongst themselves. The plan proceeded to the next stage. People would focus on the threat and realize that everyday malice in this world is real. Ooh. Can this please raise up? God damn it, Mike. It was a threat to their own lives. It was believed the occasional tumult within our organization would pose no obstacle to the plan. The countdown to the revival would march on relentlessly. I don't know who's... Well, I do know who it is, but I'm not going to say anything. December 8th, 1:28 p.m. The afternoon after the park fire. I was at my desk answering non-stop phone calls. There were many Shinjuku residents who felt unsafe because of the repeated incidents and the volume of calls had increased. I'm very sorry. That matter is currently under investigation. That said, little of the information coming into the SRCPO was of any use, and most of it was not directly related to the incidents. People reported seeing ghosts at the scene, or thought the fire affected their phone reception. There's no helping it, considering the atmosphere these crimes have created. This morning, firefighters had shown up promptly to extinguish the blaze. The only damage was the trees near the fire's center, and there were no injuries. The victim at the heart of the fire had died. However. From what Mochida had overheard so far, the on-scene investigation had ruled out suicide. It was most likely a homicide. Phew. When the incoming calls finally slowed down, I sighed and rubbed my eyes. I had gone around collecting statements and reassuring the neighbors, so it was afternoon by the time I had returned to the station. So it was a next-day crime after all. The gruesome scene from this morning replayed itself in my head. I'd watched someone burn to death, and there was nothing I could do about it. I was struck by the cruelty that could rob someone of their lives so easily. There was an announcement video. There was an announcement video too. If they also found a coin, how could they do that 2 days in a row? If Okazaki hadn't been there, I would have really been entirely useless at the scene. It had all been a shock to me, and I still hadn't fully recovered my composure. There was a commotion in the building. I immediately spotted the reason. Section Chief Morioka and Commissioner Minagishi from Investigation Section 1 were both here. This police station was the headquarters for the X-Day investigation, so there were people from the police headquarters posted here. However, SRCBO personnel didn't generally interact with investigators unless they were invited to a meeting. So the office would be stirred up by the arrival of such highly ranked officers. What in the world is going on?
Hoshino wa iru ka?
Shit! I couldn't believe my ears. He came in here and asked for me, by name.
星野が何かしましたか?
Thank you. Protect me. While I was panicking, Mochida quickly positioned himself in front of my desk, behind my desk. I quickly stood up and straightened my posture, confused. Yes, sir. I'm Kida Hoshino of the Special Regions Crime Prevention Office.
お前は今朝の事件発生当時、現場の近くにいたそうだな。
Yes, sir.
その時のことを詳しく聞きたいのですが、今お時間大丈夫ですか？
私は星野の指導担当の持田正信です。よろしければ私も同席させていただけますか？
Let my boss come. Mochida came to my rescue as I was tongue-tied with anxiety. However, Morioka shook his head no after a moment's consideration.
まずはこいつ一人に話を聞きたい。場所を移すからついてこい。
Fine. Yes, sir. My throat had dried out, and that was the only response I could manage. They brought me to the X-Day Investigations headquarters. Everyone else seemed to be out. It was empty. The room felt very big to me when I entered, and I grew increasingly nervous, wringing my hands tightly.
で、今朝の事件についてだが、なぜ
Oh shit. I knew there was more!
今朝の事件についてだが、なぜあの場所にいた？
Huh? I thought they were going to ask me about the fire itself, so I was caught off guard by the unexpected line of questioning. I just happened to be on the way to work.
SP と共に行動していたと聞いたが。
I ran into him on the way. Okazaki, the SP officer, said he also had business at Shinjuku Station today.
特防のお前がどういう経緯で警護課の人間と知り合ったんだ？
Huh? Circumstances. I just know him.
その知り合いとは？
I began to doubt myself under a rapid-fire barrage of questions. Barrage? Barrage? I think it's barrage. Whatever. Same word, means the same thing, I don't care. Perhaps noticing that I had gone pale, Minagishi interrupted with a troubled expression.
森岡さん、質問ばかりではかわいそうですよ。ちゃんと説明してあげなければ。今朝の事件、現場トイレの壁にペンキで書かれたローマ数字の1が残されていたこと。残されていたコインの鑑定結果から X デー事件であることが確定しました。
The autopsy had found the victim's cause of death to be carbon monoxide poisoning. When I had found the body, the victim had already perished.
これらの点から今回の件に彼女が直接関わっているとは考えにくい。ですからそう頭ごなしに疑ってかかるのはよくありませんよ。彼女も怯えているじゃないですか。
They do suspect me after all, then.
別に犯人だと疑っているわけじゃない。ただ嫌な感が働いただけだ。
It's not me you should be worried about. With that, Morioka leaned forward, as if searching for something in my eyes.
お前 X デイ事件について何か知っているんじゃないか。
Feeling the cold collar against my skin, I instinctively went silent. When I did, Morioka sighed deeply and quietly continued.
柳愛知を知っているな。あいつは俺の元部下だ。お前が柳たちと交流を持っていることは把握している。
Did he tell you?
いや、違う。あいつはそういうことを簡単に漏らす人間じゃない。
So Okazaki told you. Morioka bluntly remarked on his old co-worker.
ただ、あいつらに関する情報は入ってくる。あっちが望まなくてもな。
So Okazaki and Yoshinari told you. Girl, you're fucking dumb! What does that mean? Okazaki and Yoshinari are feeding the police intel of their movements. Come on, keep up, Ichika.
柳とはどうやって知り合った？
I met him on patrol. I had him show me ID just to be certain. I was curious, so I looked him up in the database and saw that he was a former police officer. After talking for a bit, I learned that he was independently investigating the X-Day incidents. I'm just keeping an eye out as a CPO so that they don't get hurt. They're civilians now. I had no idea how well they'd fall for my bald-faced lie. To begin with, someone who they knew to be as cautious as Yanagi wouldn't tell somebody he'd only met a few times that he was investigating X-Day. Morioka just stared into my eyes for a while, expressionless. I didn't know what he was thinking.
事件の捜査はお前の任務に含まれていない。それは理解しているか？
Morioka didn't pursue the subject of Yanagi and changed the topic. Yes, I thought it was necessary for the safety of the public that I be informed. Morioka and Minagishi shared a look after my plainly stated reply.
意外と芯が強そうだな。まあ、柳たちのことはいい。今は見過ごしてやる。
では、本題に移りましょう。
Oh, that wasn't even the main topic. I shifted in my chair, bracing myself for the big issue.
7日に起きた X デー事件は予告動画が新宿署のみに送られてきました。我々は場所の特定が早まることを恐れ、動画の公開範囲を絞ったのだと考えました。
They appeared to have arrived at the same They appeared to have arrived at the same conclusion as Yanagi's team.
ですが今朝の事件は動画をネット上で公開するのとほぼ同時に白昼堂々の犯行です。聞き込みの結果、現場近くで不審な女性を見たという証言もあるのですが、まだ裏は取れていません。
Two crimes had occurred in 2 days, but it looked like the investigation wasn't going as desired.
カウントダウンがゼロになるのを目前にして、奴らの動きが荒くなっているのは確かだな。
アドニスは複数人で構成されたテロ組織です。これまでの事件の犯行も複数人によるものと断定されています。おそらくですが、組織の上の人間が駒を切り捨て始めたのではないかと。
ああ、下っ端の人間なら捕まっても構わない。むしろ捕まえてみろと言わんばかりのやり方だ。実行犯が捕まったところで警察がアドニスの中心にたどり着けないという自信があるんだろう。
Maybe the group was confident that their I know that's not how you spell pawns. Peons? I don't know. Moving on. Would it betray the organization? Or perhaps the low-leveled criminals didn't know anything about Adonis to begin with. I wondered which was the case.
今朝の現場で何か気になったことは
It's all in my report.
重複してもいいから聞かせろ
Understood. Gasoline had already been poured all over the scene when I had arrived, and I couldn't reach the source of the fire. Bundles of paper were also scattered around the victim, and I found a burning scrap of a very strange note. I told them all this as politely as possible.
その紙片の内容から考えると、やはり菅原理香が怪しいですね。
Rika Sugawara? That was the name of the woman who had been stalked in the July incident. Why would her name come up now?
峯岸、余計なことは言うな。
この程度の情報、警察内部にいれば、いずれは誰でも得られるものですよ。
Minagishi calmly continued.
焼死体のため、被害者の身元確認には時間がかかっています。ただ、我々は容疑者および被害者ともに7月の事件に関連性があると見ています。
Why?
予告動画の内容からですよ。
Speaking of which, I hadn't watched the video yet. I had run straight to the scene of the crime and was busy filling a report ever since I got to the station, so I hadn't had time. That's just a convenient excuse, though. The truth was, I'd been so shocked by what I saw that I didn't feel like watching the video. Pathetic for a police officer. I'm sorry to say I haven't seen the video yet. When I answered honestly, Minagishi didn't seem upset. He just nodded.
では、ここで見てみますか。
Minagishi opened a laptop computer. Just call it a laptop, my dudes. And turned it towards me.
過剰な愛の押し付けは時に狂気となります。それが妄想による愛ならなおさらです。擁護と狂気で脅され怯える女性がいても警察は事件が起きていないからと。
Honestly, there should be better crimes preventing stalking. Like, it is harmful, and mentally, it's so harmful for someone mentally.
多くの女性を恐怖に陥れた輩にアドニスが裁きの鉄槌を下します。
これはストーカー被害を訴えた上での犯行声明だと思われます。
昨日起きた銃殺事件は8月に関連している。発端となったネットゲームつながりでな。声明の内容から今回も過去の事件と関連性があると考えるのが妥当だ。
So, you're saying that it's connected to the stalker incident back in July?
そう思わざるを得ないでしょうね。
The assailant in the July case was in detention. The woman who had been stalked by the victim, Rika Sugawara, was also suspected of being involved with Adonis and X-Day at the time. Is it true that Rika Sugawara was a victim of stalking?
ええ、間違いありません。
What if she's not related to Adonis, but is actually completely a victim? Wouldn't arresting her be causing her immense mental anguish?
菅原が本当にアドニスと無関係であれば。だが
な。Oh. You didn't find any evidence connecting her to Adonis back then, right?
お前の言う通り、菅原が長年ストーカー被害を受けていた事実は変わらない。だからこそ、7月の事件当時、菅原の聴取はあまり深いところまで切り込めなかった。ストーカー被害を未然に防げなかったのは、警察の落ち度が大きいからな。ただでさえ X デイ事件を解決に導けず、警察への風当たりが強い時期だったのもある。
She was a victim and not a strong suspect, so the police hadn't felt the need to push her too hard in their interviews. And the assailant was in jail anyways. Even if she was taken in for incitement to murder, it'd be a difficult case without evidence.
だが、今回ばかりはそうはいかない。菅原を容疑者から外す理由はない。
That ended the conversation for now, so I was dismissed and told to return to the SRCPO. I still don't really know what they wanted with me. The perpetrator this time was connected to the X-Day incidents. We were inching closer and closer to the countdown, hitting 0. I don't want to see something that awful again. I want to prevent all future incidents. If I was going to be successful at that, I knew that I had to learn a lot more about the past incidents. December 8th incident has been added to materials. Immediately after I returned to my desk, Mochida came over with a worried look.
大丈夫だったか？いじめられなかったか？というか、お前何をやらかしたんだ？
I didn't do anything!
怒られたわけじゃないのか？
No! God damn it! They just wanted to ask me about this morning.
だったらいいんだが。
He's such a worrier. But it made me truly happy to know that there was someone who genuinely cared about me right here. Morioka and Minagishi seem to suspect people within the police force. Even I'm practically a spy. Even I'm practically a spy since I'm wearing this collar. It did seem like they already had their doubts about me as well. But there was already people among the criminals with prior history and evidence to connect them. The thought gave me goosebumps. One of them is nearby. What if the person who collared me is nearby?
おい、星野。どうした？元気がないみたいだが、もし上に無理なことを言われたんだったら、俺に相談しろ。
Oh, shit.
元気がないみたいだが、もし上に無理なことを言われたんだったら、俺に相談しろ。抗議してやる。
There we go. No, I'm really fine. Mochida's worried face shook me out of my dark thoughts. Once I start doubting people, it'll never end. So I should just do what I can for now. Mochida, I actually have a favor to ask.
なんだ？何でも言ってくれ。
If you have time today, there's somewhere I'd like you to go with me. Oh, shit. I keep knocking things over. No. Oh, God. Okay. Let's read this over before we do anything. Office worker Rika Sakawara, 25, unacquainted. Okay. Harmed by police during the crime, was attacked. Okay. Okay. Names first. Office worker Rika Sakawara, 25. Office worker Tomoki Ogata, 34. Unemployed Hiroto Shimizu, 29 at the time of the murder, I'm guessing. Witness statement. A man wielding an edged weapon screamed, "Let's die together," before attacking the female victim and something to protect the woman, and was wounded by the attacker, who drew blood. The stalker was painfully confused. All right. Arrested in the act detained. Present at the scene of the crime. Claimed self-defense. Police harmed police during the crime. Was attacked by Shimizu before fleeing. Repeated instance of stalking during the crime, attacking using an edged weapon. Killed across the board. Yeah, that's about it. All right, we're caught up. The stalker manslaughter incident had happened in July, and of course they're gonna go over it anyway. So all of that was a waste of time. The man of the deceased victim was Hiroto Shimizu. He had obsessively been stalking a woman for a while. The woman had been the target of his stalking was Rika Sugawara. It was at the time of the incident, Shimizu had planned to commit a murder-suicide in public and rushed Sugawara with an edged weapon. It's called a fucking knife. What is it, a shiz? A shiv? What is it called? A shiv? Where you like break a fork and then it becomes like a sharp weapon and you stab somebody? I don't know. A passerby pushed Sugawara out of the way to protect her and then stabbed Shimizu to death in a scuffle. The intervening passerby arrested at the scene was Tomoki Ogata. He was currently in detention. July incident report has been added to materials. On the surface, it appeared to be a simple case, and it wasn't even initially classified as an X-Day crime at the time. Even when an Adonis coin was discovered while searching Shimizu's home, the police opinion on the case hadn't changed. However, Adonis then uploaded a video statement referencing the killing in the following month.
正当防衛なのに一時でも身柄を拘束される理不尽だと思いませんか彼は一人の女性を救ったヒーローだというのに女性は昔からストーカー被害を訴えていたにもかかわらず警察は取り合わなかった我々アドニスはこの悲しみを見過ごせず被害者に代わり裁きを下しました X デーへのカウントダウン6そして今月はカウントダウン5近々再び裁きが下ります
Due to this video, the homicide was now treated as part of the string of X-Day crimes. The assailant was arrested. He insisted upon his innocence and that he acted in self-defense, but the case motive and larger scope were unknown. I'll ask Sukaragawa for more details on the case from back then.
ここが菅原理香の家だ。
Thank you.
しかしお前も偉いな。ストーカー被害者の精神状態を気にして様子を見に行きたいなんて。
That's the job of the local office to begin with.
そうなんだが。いや、感心するよ。
I hadn't lied to Mochida. Sugawara. Sugawara hadn't been able to rely on the police to protect her from the stalker. She had deep psychological wounds. On top of that, she'd been suspected as a murderer and subject to various slanders by the media. Though the possibility of it being true hadn't been ruled out. If Investigations HQ suspects her, they'll come to look for her soon enough. It could just exacerbate the damage that had already been done to her psyche. Whether or not Sugawara was related to X-Day, I was personally worried about her state of mind. Mochida, would you mind waiting here?
なあ、わかってる。何かあったらすぐに呼べよ。
Due to her circumstances, Sugawara might not respond well to men. Mochida stayed in the hallway, and I pushed the intercom in front of her door.
どなたですか?
I'm Officer Kida Hoshino, from the local office of Shinjuku Police Station. There was silence.
あなた方に話せることはすべて話しました。お帰りください。
An icy voice came back over the speaker. Please wait a moment. I'm not here because of the investigation. I just came to make sure you're safe. Have you noticed anything unusual lately?
安全確認？今さら？私が何を訴えても、被害妄想だ、自意識過剰だと言って、取り合ってくれなかったのはあなた方です。
This poor woman.
私を疑っているんでしょ？それでここに来たんでしょ？
I was at a loss as how to respond to that. She appeared to be still deeply mistrustful of the police. The police had been sloppy in their handling of the stalker, but it seemed they had been equally bad to their treatment of the victim. All of us in the police are responsible for the way you feel now. I am deeply sorry for what happened to you. But we don't want to repeat the same mistake. It's true some suspect you for yesterday's fire. Would you mind speaking to me to clear it up? Again, there was silence. I nervously waited for Sugawara's reply.
あなた一人男はいない
My partner's here, but he'll wait outside. A short while after I said that, the door quietly opened.
はじめまして。
God, she's so pretty.
菅原理香と申します。
She's so pretty. I understand why she was stalked. Not that's a good thing. You should never stalk people. Like, I hated the full... What was that thing? Where, like... I hated that trend on Twitch for a while where, like, people would start calling the police and reporting streamers and getting them raided by cops. I hated that. I thought it was so stupid. I hated that so much. No one do that. It's so bad. But no, Rika's so pretty. I feel so bad for her, though. She did not deserve the things she got handed to her. In contrast to her fearful tone over the intercom, I was slightly surprised to see her so calm. I had thought that I might not be able to talk to her due to her mistrust and fear of the police, so this was a bit unexpected. I'm Kita Hoshino from the SRCPO. I reintroduced myself and bowed. We apologize for being unable to solve the case and for making you feel unsafe. On behalf of the police, I deeply apologize for the pain that was caused to you and our failure to prevent it. There's no excuse for the way you were treated.
ねえ、そういうのやめて。
It was an expressionless voice. I looked up.
本当に今更ね。もう私の人生はとっくに壊れてしまった。壊されたの。
In contrast to her words, she smiled thinly. But her eyes were not laughing at all.
でも、私はやっと生まれ変われるの。これから新しい人生を生きられるのよ。だから邪魔しないで。
Reborn. I didn't understand. But she was acting neither scared nor angry. And the way she spoke with a casual smile told me that she clearly didn't want my help. Looks like I won't get through to her. Asking for her trust after all this time was probably impossible. When I said nothing, at a loss, Sugawara's smile disappeared and her face grew more serious.
あなた、愛する人はいる?
Huh? Confused by the secular, I think that's what it is, non-secular, I tilted my head. You mean someone I like?
ええ。
She probably meant to ask if I had a love interest. I loved my parents in Okazaki. They were irreplaceable to me. But as for anyone else, I couldn't say that there was. No, not really. I'm scared. My eyes widened at her sudden laughter. She seemed to find that oddly hilarious. After laughing for a while, she sighed and gave me a look.
かわいそうに。まだ愛を知らないのね。私はいるわ。愛する人。最近出会って、それでやっと分かったの。誰かを殺したいと思うほど、人を愛するってことをね。
Girl, you're incriminating yourself. Sugawara's joyous expression bordered on madness, and it sent a chill down my spine.
あの人が私を救ってくれたの。ただ泣いて逃げ惑うだけの日々を。あの人が終わらせてくれたのよ。それまで私を殺して自分も死のうとした清水の気持ちなんて全然わからなかったけど。今ならわかるわ。あの人と一緒に死ねたら 私だって最高に幸せだもの。
Her words made me flash back to a certain image. I love you so badly, I want to kill you. That was the phrase on the burning note. Sugawara's words matched it.
今では清水に感謝すらしているの。私に本物の愛の形を教えてくれたんだもの。
I was speechless, and I looked away from Sugawara, who was now smiling ecstatically. I didn't understand what she was saying, but I could tell that her experience with the stalker had twisted her mind. She had been broken by having that extreme form of love forced on her, and now she had directed that twisted affection towards someone else. What should I say to her? I couldn't come up with anything to say, so I quietly smiled, as if to agree with her.
あなたが本物の愛を知っていたら、少しは話ができたかもしれないわね。事件のことを探っても無駄よ。どうせもうすぐ、すべてが再生される。
I see. Huh? Wait, what's that supposed to? My words were interrupted by the slamming of the door. That was not slamming. That was gently closing it. And she disappeared, and she didn't hear them. When we returned to the police station, Mochida came to check on me with a worried look.
菅原理香に会いに行ってからずっと顔色が悪いが、どうした？何かあったのか？
Oh, nothing in particular, really. I think I'm just a little tired. I had told him that she didn't. Oh my god, please, mouth work, function. I had only told him that she didn't trust the police. As for her beloved, I was still unsure if that was directly related to the case. I withheld that out of respect for her privacy.
少し休憩してきていいぞ。30分ぐらい寝てこい。
Thank you, sir. I gratefully accepted Mochida's kindness. After parting ways with him, I headed for the forensic department. I was going to see Sakuragawa. As I walked, I thought about what Sugawara had said. It was as if she was basically admitting to being an ex-day perpetrator, the person she loves. Tomoki Okata, the one arrested in July, had ended up saving Sugawara. If this had been deliberate, then it meant that Ogata wasn't simply a bystander, which means, was Ogata the savior that Sugawara fell in love with? I have to look deeper into the events of July. I quickened my pace.
で、何が聞きたいわけ？私も暇じゃないんだから、早くしてよね。
Sorry, I'll make it quick. Despite her sarcastic tones, Sakuragawa rushed over to me as soon as she saw me. She really was a good person. Have you learned anything new about the arson murder this morning? Have you figured out the victim's identity?
遺体の損傷が激しくて、まだ判明してない。
She denied my inquiry bluntly, but I kept pushing. The entire department believes that this event is connected to July, based on the video statement, right? In order to connect the cases, I need as much information on the July homicide as possible. Can you fill me in? Sugawara looked at me exasperatedly and then leaned in while checking our surroundings.
あんた、捜査本部に目つけられてるよ。
I figured. I know. They've already called me in once.
マジで？大丈夫なの？
I realize that I have to be more careful now. Sugawara looked increasingly amazed, but then she suddenly grinned.
まあ、そうでなきゃ私も困るし。
Sorry to ask so suddenly, but could I see the old files?
渡せるのは実況見分調書、証拠品リスト、検視結果ぐらいだけどいい？
Certainly. Okay, we're probably gonna get to that point and then I'm gonna take a break. When I nodded, Sakuragawa brought me a snack. She brought me a snack, guys. Am I hungry? Who knows? Sakuragawa brought me a stack of files from a shelf deeper in the room.
見るならここで見て。持ち出しは禁止だから。
Thank you. All right. I have to give this a thorough read. Hopefully, I can notice if anything's off. For a while, I engrossed myself in the files.
この事件、ちょっと不自然だよね。
I turned around in surprise at the voice.
こんにちは。
Hello? Wait, why are you here?
新宿署に用があって寄ったら、ここに入ってく君が見えたから。追いかけてきちゃった。
Right. You're totally tailing me. Ended up here. He had mentioned that he had something to do here this morning. I'd heard that the SP were secretly coordinating with the local jurisdiction. Maybe he was meeting with the security division. While I pondered that, Sakuragawa lightly clapped me on the shoulder.
あんた、SP とも知り合いなの？どういう関係？
Huh? What's that supposed to mean? I wondered if I could reveal that I know Yanagi and his team.
俺と彼女の関係か。
Sir, tread carefully, sir.
ねえ、内緒にしておいた方がいい？
What? Why is he asking me?
恥ずかしいから知られたくないみたい。だから内緒の関係ってことで。
It's not what you think, Sakuragawa. Trust me, not what you think.
へえ。
No, it's not what you think! Hey, Okazaki! Don't say it like that!
誤解かな？当たってるよね。
I'm pretty sure it isn't. I couldn't think of any way to accurately describe my relationship to him. Watching me panic, Sakuragawa grinned.
あんたも隅に置けないっていうか、結局のとこ女だったんだね。
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like I said, we're specifically not like that. This is headed in the wrong direction.
で、資料読まないならしまうけど。
Wait! I grabbed the files as Sakuragawa started to leave with them.
それ、
I'm not done.
7月の事件の資料だよね。
Yes. Instead of berating me, Okazaki now looked curious.
俺も見ていい？
As an SP officer, Okazaki, like myself, wouldn't have authority to investigate the case. I looked at Sakuragawa for a response.
私知らない。
Girl, I swear. She returned to her own work. I think she was enjoying this. I suppose that reaction meant that he also had her permission to see them.
お許しも出たみたいだし、見ようよ。
I don't know. With a tinge of uncertainty, I turned the page. The crime had occurred in Kabukicho. Kabukicho. Have I? No, I haven't. The scene kind of looked familiar. I thought maybe I'd visited it last time I was in Japan. There was a lot of foot traffic at the time. All right, and with that, we're actually going to take a really quick break. What the? How is it on? Anyways, oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Okie dokie. All right, we are quickly going to transition over. All right, so I'm going to take a really quick break and I will be right back. Bye. Oh, all right, let's get back into the game and get this wrapped up for the day. Transition back. All right, let's go. Let me quickly actually grab the walkthrough. I forgot that I needed this. Where is my walkthrough? Examine everything twice. Okay. Let's go. Okay. According to witness statements.
女性の悲鳴が聞こえて一時あたりは騒然。ナイフを持った男が女性に一緒に死のうと言いながら襲いかかっていた。
Then Ogata, a passerby, jumped in and grappled with Shimizu. Oh, God, I keep calling him Shizumi. Shimizu. We've covered this already. It says while they were grappling, Shimizu dropped the knife. Ogata picked it up and used it against Shimizu.
錯乱状態なら凶器を取り落としても不思議はないかな。でもうまくいきすぎてる感じはあるよね。
All accounts agree that a man attacked a woman, and the person that stepped in was also attacked and used the knife to stab the initial assailant. Examine it again.
これ見て。周囲の証言でちょっと変わったのがある。
The passerby, Ogata, twisted Shimizu's wrist. What if this is how he got Shimizu to drop the knife?
全部が信憑性のあるものとは限らないけどね。もう一つ。尾形が女性をかばうように割って入った時、何か喋ってたって書かれてる。
There's no record of what he said, though. We won't get anything else out of this. Murder weapon. The weapon was a 15-centimeter knife. Shimizu owned it. He was carrying it, presumably to attack Sugawara.
指紋は被害者の清水と加害者の尾形のもののみか。菅原の指紋はなかったみたいだね。
Wouldn't that be obvious?
可能性として気になっただけ。もう少し調べてみようか。
Blood on the knife belonged to two people, Shimizu and Ogata. So Ogata was injured too.
暴れる清水を抑えようとしてたわけだからね。腕に防御痕はあり。一つだけか。
Wouldn't there normally be more than that?
こういう状況だと一つは少ないかな。清水はめちゃくちゃにナイフを振り回してたみたいだし。
I wonder how Ogata managed to disarm Shimizu in his endangered state, in his enraged state.
それは聞き込み情報に書いてあるよ。それから付着してた血液が2種類ってことは、菅原はナイフで傷つけられなかったんだね。
She did well to avoid it. That means Ogata completely defended her when she was just inches from getting hurt. July murder weapon has been added to materials. The deceased Shimizu was age 29, unemployed. He was suspected of stalking the same woman previously. And Rika Sugawara is age 25, an office worker in Shinjuku. Shimizu had reportedly been stalking her for a few years. There are police records of her reporting stalking multiple times.
ストーカー規制法もできて、昔よりは警察も話を聞くようになったけど、やっぱり実害が出ないと動けないのもあるだろうね。
This could all have been prevented if they just did.
そういう事例はたくさんあるよ。通報には優先順位がつけられるから、ある程度は仕方ないんじゃないかな。
passerby and assailant, Tomoki Ogata, is age 34 and an office worker in Shinjuku. He changed jobs twice in the last 2 years.
5月の警察官拉致殺害事件で容疑者に上がったからだろうね。
It was taken on as a mistake arrest by the deceased officer. He was suspected of acting in revenge.
すごい経歴の持ち主だよね。
Huh?
2年前、駅のホームでの喧嘩を仲裁しようとして喧嘩してた片方の男性が線路に転落し、それで嫌疑をかけられて5人逮捕された。今年5月にはその5人逮捕した警察官が死亡。復讐のためにやったんじゃないかって疑われて再び容疑者にされた。それで今年7月、ストーカー犯罪から女性を守ろうとして防衛のために誤って男性を刺殺してしまう。
This man is not lucky if he has nothing to do with anything. Quite heroic of him. That connects him to 3 deaths. He's been under suspicion before, which caused him to repeatedly change jobs. Yet he jumped in to stop an attacker once again.
ものすごく正義感の強い人なのかな。
But it says that he has no prior association with Shimizu or Sugawara. Sugawara da Sakuragawa.
いっそ面識やった方が自然だったのに。だって見ず知らずの人のためにここまでのことなかなかできないよ。
July suspects has been added to materials. The cause of death was blood loss resulting from a knife wound to the heart. Dang, to the heart?
傷は1箇所のみで心臓を深く一突き。
Oh, I think I missed something.
傷は1箇所のみで心臓を深く一突き。ほぼ即死みたいだね。
Yeah, I did. Okay. He didn't even have time to say anything. It probably looked like an instant kill to anyone in the area.
それが引っかかるんだよね。
Huh?
もう少し調べてみようか。
To kill someone, like stabbing directly to the heart, insta kill, that's hard. Especially, there's an amendment, Adam, some I don't fucking know. Two, the autopsy also turned up some drugs in the victim's system.
襲われた女性、菅原理香の証言だと、一緒に死のうって襲われたみたいだから、心神喪失の状態に近いね。
When he attacked Ogata, a passerby jumped into the fray. Bystanders witnessed the melee. Melee?
何か言ったのかな？
Huh? Are you suggesting that Ogata said something to further provoke Shimizu?
もともと正常な状態じゃなかったとはいえ、尾形が間に入ってさらに暴れたみたいだし。まあ、邪魔されたと思い込んだなら当たり前の反応かもしれないけど。
Maybe Ogata being there made things worse when Shimizu was already under the influence, and that pushed him over the edge.
だとすると、やっぱり不自然だな。
July autopsy has been added to materials. Is there anything else? Okay, I checked everything twice. Let me just double check. Crime scene, body, brown. Crime scene, state of body, found? Crime situation. State of body. Oh!
現場には例のコインもローマ数字もなかったんだよね。
Yes, that's why no one thought to connect it to X-Day at first. But
後日被害者の自宅からコインとローマ数字の6が発見された。
some within the police believe that Adonis took advantage of the situation and claimed responsibility for it.
例えば本当に X デー事件とは何の関係もないと仮定した場合、事件が起こった後に アドニスが急いで被害者宅を特定して警察が来る前にコインと数字を残していったことになるよね。ただの事故を計画性のあるものだと見せかけるためにはそれしかないし。
I mean, it could also have been premeditated. They could have slipped drugs into a system, done all that stuff, and someone could have, posing as a friend of theirs, could have persuaded them to go and kill Sugawara as a means of, as an act of love. That is also a possibility. But that's not very realistic, is it?
アドニスは4月からずっと自分たちの意思で事件を起こしてる。わざわざ計画にない事件を利用する必要はないはずだから。
So that means that they would have had to have, oh my lord, planned everything out, every part of this out from the very beginning. I don't think I did these in proper order, but oh well. Hmm?
地面が気になるの？
I feel like we might have overlooked something. There wasn't any lost belongings at the scene.
清水がつけてた腕時計と犯行に使われたナイフくらいかな。
Wait, what's this garbage-looking thing in the photo?
それはただのゴミだね。
Ugh.
これは現場保存のための写真であって、当時は鑑識が隅まで調べたと思うよ。
You're right. Sorry. I was just spinning my wheels.
焦らない焦らない。大事なのは間違い探しじゃなくて、当時の情報を整理することだよ。
Okay. Yeah, definitely did that out of order, but hopefully that does not affect anything. Oh well. We finished looking through the files. When we finished looking through the files, Okazaki muttered something.
やっぱり変だね。
Yeah. As we looked through the files, several problems had arisen. If this really was an X-Day killing, then there had to be a clear reason to kill Shimizu. I keep flipping it. God damn it. Assuming that was true, then the scenario wasn't an accident and was full of holes. Sugawara was completely unscathed by the attack, and the assailant, Ogata, was a passerby. Ogata disarmed Shimizu, and Shimizu was on drugs. There was a nagging feeling that the entire incident had been a setup. Okazaki, the part you think is strange is... I think this is strange too. Ogata being stabbed in the heart. That Ogata killed Shimizu with a single thrust to the heart.
そう、すごい。君って勘がいいんだね。
It's hard. It's a hard thing to do. I thought it was something that was easy to notice if you read the files closely.
そうかな。これ、いろいろと惑わされる情報が多いよ。その中でもこれって選べるのはすごいと思う。
I'm happy to be complimented, but does he really think I'm that thoughtless? Oh, not again. Hold. Oh, there we go. God damn it, my model. Let me just make sure everything's going well on stream. There was another data error? Are you kidding me? Something's going on with my with my connection. I don't have my PC connected to Ethernet, so it's probably that. I really need to get Ethernet. I had mixed feelings about this.
ごめん、そういうつもりじゃなかったんだけど。
Okazaki's expression clouded, as if he had read something from my face.
これに気づけたのは、俺が SP だからってのも大きいと思うんだ。だから、君も同じ視点で見てたのに驚いて。
Anyone with a brain would find it odd. Huh? What do you mean by SP perspective?
じゃあ、まずは加害者の尾形が主張してる正当防衛についてちょっとまとめてみよ
う。Yeah, heart is kind of a... If it's self-defense, you wouldn't aim for their heart.
正当防衛っていうのは、窮迫している状態で防衛したときに、相手を誤って害してしまったことを指すよね。
Yes. The question of whether it was justified or unjustified is key to deciding whether whether this was murder. Okazaki nodded and continued.
この事件がストーカー被害の女性菅原による殺人なら理解できることが多いんだ。日頃の恨みが溜まっていただろうし、それじゃなくても恐怖の対象に襲われたら必死に自衛しようとするのが当たり前だしね。予期してない襲撃に対する防衛じゃなくて、予期していたことに対する抵抗で過剰になるのは納得できる。
She wasn't attacked by someone she didn't know, but rather someone she had prior experience with, someone who'd made death threats against her. She knew the danger she was in, so she might have been mentally ready to kill her attacker. I can understand how that feels.
でも、ストーカー男の清水を殺したのは通りすがりの一般人だったでしょ。しかも逆上する清水からナイフを奪った上に心臓を一突きしてて目立った外傷はなし。
Yeah, his movement was too precise. But Ogata had a defensive wound on his arm from the knife, right? It seems like the self-defense claims focus on that point.
でもその傷、俺から見るとわざと切られたように見えるんだ。
I agree with the statement. On purpose?
だって腕に浅い傷が一つだけだよ。状況からしてずいぶん運がいいなって思わない？
To disarm a frenzied man on drugs, I mind you, who is not in his right state of mind and is currently in his fight and flight reflexes, like, it would be so hard to not only disarm them without proper training, but then to then proceed to give them a single blow to the chest, which stabs their heart. You have to get past ribs, and that's not an easy task. You have to know exactly where you're hitting. It hard. Shimizu was high and wildly flailing the knife around. On top of that, Ogata was also shielding Sugawara, but he got away with only a minor flesh wound. Perhaps Ogata is a composed fighter and used to wielding edged weapons?
そう。心臓を一つ切って簡単に言うけど、実際は結構難しいものなんだよ。
Very tough. I had learned that at the police academy too. It was hard to target the heart, slightly left of center mass, and was protected by the rib cage.
ただの通行人にしては、あまりにもやり方がスマートで、ためらいがなさすぎるよね。
Yeah, no. Most people would like, if you're gonna aim somewhere, aim for the fucking neck. Like you aim the neck, because the neck is more vulnerable. There's a lot more arteries and veins. It's an easier strike to make. But the chest, like that's hard. And if it's self-defense, you'd go for like the stomach, like the stomach, the neck, the arms, the legs. Like, those are the places you go to, not the chest. You won't get anything done with the chest. Or you try to knock him out by the head. Chest is hard.
突発的な戦闘に慣れてる人間がたまたま通りすがったっていう可能性もなくはないけど。
But that's a 1 in a million chance. And Shinjuku too. Ogata's just a normal office worker, and it doesn't seem like he's trained in martial arts. In that case, it's actually suspicious that Ogata is totally unacquainted with Shimizu or Sugawara.
相手に明確な殺意を抱いてないなら、反撃にしても躊躇するのが普通だと思う。相当な自信がない限り、自分の身も危険になるわけだしね。
Yeah. Hearing the qualified SP officer's opinion, brain function, please. Emphatically agreed. Moving on. I give up. Looking at the entire scenario, there were just too many things that didn't add up. I see it now. Ogata's history is too suspicious. He was mistakenly arrested 2 years ago. He was a police murder suspect in May. And then he had just happened to kill a man in defense of a woman being attacked on the street.
そうだね。 事故じゃなくて計画的な犯行って意味で視点を変えると尾形の存在が浮いてるんだ。
Yeah.
会いに行ってみる？
え？
尾形智樹は拘置所にいるんだよね。面会はできるんじゃないかな。
It had been right under my nose. If I were to speak with Ogata in person, I'd be able to clear up many of my suspicions. But there was something nagging at me.
その詩編の内容から考えると、やはり菅原理香が怪しいですね。
The investigators suspect Sugawara. If the burn victim this morning turned out to be her associate, it would only be a matter of time before she was brought in for questioning. I want to talk to her before that. If she had a hand in this because she felt trapped by her stalker, I had to put a stop to it. If she had nothing to do with it, then I needed to rule out my suspicions. Either way, I was worried.
俺は尾形に会ってみたいな。
Huh? You want to go too?
うん。ちょっと興味が出てきちゃったから。
Okazaki, you wouldn't also have to be investigating X Day, would you?
それはないよ。他の事件のことは全く知らないし。ただ7月の事件だけは前からちょっと気になってたんだよね。
Speaking of which.
あとは過剰防衛かどうかだけど、守るためにやったことなのに罪に問われるのは少しかわいそうだな。それに彼がストーカーに襲われてた女性を守ったのも事実でしょ。守るために必要な犠牲もあるよ。
He had said something similar before. Maybe as an SP, he's interested in whether it really was done to protect someone.
君はどうする？一緒に行く？
Go see Ogata. Yes, go see Ogata. I'm going to see Ogata. Going to see Ogata too. Want to go together? My suspicions of Ogata had only intensified after I reviewed the information with Okazaki. What kind of person was he? Was he connected to Adonis? I was going to uncover the truth of X Day. I had to talk to him first. After that, I'll go to Sugawara. Yeah, Sugawara.
じゃあ行こう。少しでも新情報が出てくるといいね。
Okazaki plainly smiled in that manner of his that never let on what he was thinking. I lied and told Mochi that I had a personal affair that I couldn't miss and left work early. I hate to do this when there are so many calls. I insisted that he call immediately if there was an emergency call.
ね、連絡先教えてくれる？
Forward much? Okay, hello? Sitting next to me, the first thing that Okazaki said once the taxi started moving instantly set my heart on edge.
あれ、ダメ？
It's not that, but now that I thought about it, it had been a few days since we met, and we hadn't exchanged contact info yet. Because you shouldn't! Because this man is an SP officer and could kill you in an instant. You have no preservation skills, Ichika. God damn it. Please be more socially aware of what can and will kill you. Events that turned out to out the way they had, but it was still a problem if I got too close to him.
変なことに使ったりしないよ。もし危険があったり助けが必要な時は俺を呼んでほしいなって。
I still so panicked that I just blurted out whatever gibberish came to my mind when he continued. Are you saying that you'd protect me?
君は職務外って分かってて X デー事件を捜査してるんだよね。理由は深く聞かないけど、警察官としてみんなの安全を守るために頑張ろうとしてるんだろうなってわかる。でもそれってすごく危ないと思うんだ。柳さんたちがいるとは言っても警察内部に協力者はいないだろうし。 俺はね、操作とかは向いてないけど、いざという時に守ることはできるから。
Okazaki. Oh. Okay. His supposed motives and gentle tone warmed my heart.
だから、君を守らせて。危ない目にあったら、俺を頼って。ね。
He grinned, and I also smiled and nodded in response. Thank you. I'm happy to hear that. He had his own mission, but I was glad that Okazaki was worried about me. I was glad that a fellow police officer had affirmed that I was trying to do what I was trying to do. I thought I had to pursue this on my own, but I've always been uneasy about it. It was just a burden to Yanagi's team. Even while I struggled to contribute, I was painfully aware of my own uselessness. But...
今君がしなくちゃいけないことがある。君にしかできないことがあるんだよ。
While I was confused in front of the fire this morning, he had told me that. I realized I had only realized my purpose in that moment because Okazaki had been there for me. He's helped me so much in such a short time. I'm just checking stuff really quickly. Okay. I'm like really worried that I've just been on mute this entire time. I'm so scared that I'm gonna review footage and it's gonna be like, actually you've been on mute this entire time. Terrifies me. While I had people I was cooperating with, I hadn't met anyone I could consider an ally. But now that Okazaki was talking this way, I really wanted to have him as an ally.
はい。じゃあメアドと番号交換ね。
Fine. Okay. My model keeps winking. I don't know why. I'm not actually winking. I added Get Okazaki to my phone's list of contacts. How reassuring. We hadn't known each other long, and we still didn't know much about each other. But just today alone, he had already helped me many times. Moreover, he said I could keep relying on him. It was heartening in a way I couldn't describe. Right now, oh, right. Don't you have to protect Yanagi's team today?
うん。今は吉成君に任せてあるから平気。
Oh my gosh. Pushing it all on him.
そもそも彼らは一般の人たちと違って、四六時中守らなきゃいけないほど弱くないから。
Keep telling yourself that. That's true. The fact he understood this seemed to be an implicate acknowledgement that his protection assignment was just for pretense. So they suspect Yanagi's team after all. If that was true, then it would be natural that he suspected me by association. Our exchanging of numbers and his offer of protection could only be part of his surveillance. Which is it? This weighs heavy on me. Okazaki smiled and his words. Sure. Ugh. His voice that had encouraged me this morning. I don't want to doubt it. I didn't want to think that this was all lies. Even if I was under suspicion, I didn't want to just deny everything he'd done for me. Just as my spirit began to deflate, my phone vibrated in my hand. Huh? Because it had jarred me out of a taxing train of thought, I yelped in surprise. The sender of the message was none other than Okazaki, who was literally right next to me. I'm sending that to my friend. Huh? Sir! You can't say that out loud! I looked up with a blank expression on my face. Okazaki was grinning. Thanks. I must have made him worry. Maybe texting as maybe him texting as opposed to saying it directly was his way of showing that he cared. The thought made me feel warm inside, so I typed out a heartfelt reply. Thank you. He replied immediately. That emoji, what the hell? You're welcome. I couldn't stifle a giggle. It seemed unlike Okazaki to use an emoji in a message. Afterwards, we continued texting while we were right beside each other. I'm hungry. What should I have for dinner? Are you eating at home? Oh, my brother likes hamburg. I prepared the base yesterday and it's sitting in the refrigerator. Sounds good. I'll have hamburg too. Will you cook it yourself? I can't make that. I'll find a place. It was an odd feeling texting while we were right next to each other. I must say, it was a lot of fun. The frivolous moments were enough to make me forget about all of the day's distress. Will you cook for me one day? When I looked up, Okazaki was waiting for me with an expectant expression. Maybe if there's time. Yay! Looking forward to it. I didn't say a word though. While exchanging carefree messages, our eyes met and we smiled. This is so relaxing. I felt better when I was with Okazaki. I also realized that I could smile naturally. The moments lazily passed, and I embraced their comfort. Finally, the approval to perform an interview came down. Ogata was pale. Before we could introduce ourselves, he leaned in and started speaking.
私は無実だ。あれは正当防衛だったんです。目撃者だってそう証言してくれているのに、どうしてこんなに裁判が長引くんですか？あなたたちだって理解しているはずです。これが正当防衛と認められなければ、警察は再び大きな過ちを犯すことになる。
He must have been referring to his mistake arrest in the past. In May, Ogata was marked as a suspect because the police had thought he was acting out of revenge for his prior mistaken arrest. Then he was at the center of an incident in July, and now he was here in jail.
落ち着いてください。今日はあなたに質問があってきたんです。
Okazaki spoke to Ogata in a calm tone.
正当防衛とのことですが、当時的確に心臓を一突きしていますね。そういった訓練を受けたことがあるんですか？
何わけのわからないことを。あれはたまたまです。奴が振り回したナイフを奪った時に偶然心臓に刺さってしまったんです。
Ogata boldly spat out a retort while glaring at Okazaki. But it was easy to pick up the quivering in his tone.
偶然か。
It's possible.
偶然あの場に居合わせて、偶然清水が取り落としたナイフを奪い、偶然相手の心臓を突き刺したんですね。
何が言いたい？
Ogata was clearly irritated by Okazaki's unflinching calm.
あなた方も私が計画的にあの男を殺したと言いたいのか？では、私がストーカー男を挑発して逆上させ、正当防衛に見せかけて殺そうという計画のもと犯行を起こしたと仮定するなら、私と清水の関係性は、動機は X デー事件に関与しているという確たる根拠はどこにある？
Seeing that we didn't have any answers, Ogata smiled triumphantly.
ほら、何もない。なのに警察は私を女性を救った英雄どころか罪人扱いだ。5月の事件もそうだったな。私を誤認逮捕した警察官が殺されたからと当然のように私を容疑者扱いした。 ご存知の通り、私には鉄壁のアリバイがある。その時期は海外旅行に行っていたからな。
そうですね。あなたに犯行は不可能です。
開き直るか。それでこそ薄汚い警察らしい。お前たち警察のずさんな捜査で何人の被害者が出たと思っているんだ。被害者の人権を踏み潰し、自白を強要し、検挙率を上げることだけを考えている警察が真実にたどり着けるわけがない。私が勾留中もずっと X デー事件は起こり続けているじゃないか。せめてそっちを解決したらどうなんだ。
I had no retort for that. The truth was that the X-Day crimes were ongoing, and the body count continued to pile up. Even while I'm here now, somebody could be. When I grabbed my knees in frustration, Okazaki put his hand on mine. When I looked up, Okazaki was staring straight at Ogata. It felt like the warmth of Okazaki's hand was calming me down.
だが、私を疑うのは当然だな。
Huh? Suddenly, Ogata leaned back in his chair, adopting a confident smile.
私はアドニスに感謝している。なぜなら、汚染された警察の実態を明るみにしてくれたからだ。私はアドニスの考えに賛同する。アドニスを正義と捉えている。
His smile disappeared and he folded his hands.
私は何でもない日常を生きていた。家族がいて、仕事があって、帰る場所がある。そんな普通の幸せな日常。だがある日、私にとっての普通はすべて崩れ去った。
A deep, stern, hollow voice emitted from Ogata's lips.
2年前のあの時も、いつもと変わりない日のはずだった。私は通勤中、良かれと思って揉め事の仲裁に入っただけだ。何もしていない。私はただ日常を生きていただけだ。
Ogata regained some of his composure and looked into our eyes.
今年の5月もそうだ。何もしていないのに、当然のように犯人扱いされた。7月も女性を助けようとしただけなのに、防衛を攻撃だと決めつけられた。お前たちは決して学習しない。何度繰り返しても自分たちが黒と決めたものを黒に塗り替える。
Ogata's words cut straight into my heart. Truthfully, I couldn't deny that there were problems in the police force.
想像できるか。一瞬で日常のすべてを奪われる苦しみが。信頼も名誉、愛も希望もすべてだ。周囲の私を見る目は汚物を見るものに変わった。妻と子供は犯罪者の烙印を押された私から逃げた。長年勤めていた会社からは腫れ物扱いされ、自主退社に追い込まれ、社会的に抹消された。私が生きていた証をすべて消されたんだ。
I couldn't say anything. I was touched by Ogata's tragedy, and I didn't think it could all be lies. You are too naive, then, girl. Despite his constant brushes with the X-Day crimes, the first mistaken arrest must have... I was sure that he just wanted to live a peaceful life at some point.
他にも大勢いるはずだ。警察に人生を壊され、憎悪を燃やし、アドニスを正義と考える人間が。私は決して有罪にはならない。私の行動が正義だったと世間が認める日が必ず来る。
With that, Ogata shut his mouth. We wouldn't get any more out of him. Okazaki Okazaki also made to leave the room, but then
俺にはあなたの気持ちを理解してあげることはできない。
he murmured.
ただ最後に一つ聞かせてくれる？
He looked at Ogata with lonely eyes.
揉め事を仲裁するためだったのに誤認逮捕で辛い経験をした。なのにあなたはまた同じことをした。危険が迫った女性を助けるためとはいえ揉め事に割って入ったのはどうして？
Ogata answered Okazaki's question with wordless silence.
正義のためだ。
Then he uttered that short phrase in an expressionless voice. Ogata had nothing to say after that. We left the detention center on the way. On the way back, Okazaki mumbled.
新しい情報は引き出せなかったね。
Well, not that I was allowed to talk. Yeah, but it's a chance to get our bearings. Ogata had approved of Adonis because he believed the police had committed wrongs. Then, surely, Sugawara also bore the same animosity. For the police, she was likely to sympathize with Adonis too. So it really wasn't merely a coincidence that Ogata stepped in that time. Somehow, he made it happen deliberately.
あまりにも偶然が多すぎる。計画性があったものとして考えるべきだよ。
That means in this incident, Sugawara and Ogata are accomplices. Oh. Accomplices? Yes. If it was a planned killing, then neither of them could be overlooked. What if Sugawara and Ogata... what if Sugawara asked Ogata to commit the murder?
俺もその可能性を考えてた。彼女なしじゃ、この計画は成立しないよね。
To provoke Shimizu, Sugawara just had to lead him into the scene of the crime. Ogata didn't know him, so he couldn't provoke him. Plenty of witnesses saw Shimizu chasing Sugawara that day. Ogata was implicated to previous incidents, so the risk of him killing someone would be too high.
いくら正当防衛を主張できても、状況次第では厳罰が与えられるし、殺人どころか揉め事の仲裁すら本来だったら避けて通りたいはずだよ。
Which means... Ogata went that far. What if, in the heat of the moment, Ogata just decided to go that far?
見返りって言うと?
One of the officers killed in May mistakenly arrested Ogata in the past. It completely ruined his life. According to his own words, it was reasonable for someone in his shoes to consider revenge, right? So shouldn't we consider Ogata the true culprit in May?
待って、さすがにそれは無理だよ。だって彼にはアリバイがあったんだよ。
Yes, that's why. It was a substitute murder. Could it possibly be a substitute murder?
交換殺人。
Okazaki was surprised, but he nodded. His alibi of traveling overseas is ironclad, but looking at it another way, it's so watertight that it looks prepared.
5月の事件を尾形の代わりに誰かが実行して、7月の事件を誰かの代わりに尾形が実行した。それならいろんな違和感も説明がつく。
In contrast, with the vindicated look on Okazaki's face, my own thoughts were hazy. If they were substitute murders, the motive for the July murder would be revenge for Sugawara. And if If Ogata and Sugawara were somehow connected, then Sugawara could have committed a crime on someone else's behalf.
もし X デー事件全体が交換殺人だとしたら、他の月はどうなるんだろう。
They were crimes carried out by Adonis. That meant there could have been a different agent committing the murders each month. Every suspect in the X-Day crimes thus far had unnaturally perfect alibis. It was likely that each crime had been committed by proxy who wouldn't have any direct motive. But the scale is too massive. Even if we chase down the lead for one crime, it would be very difficult to nail down proof. This is just... I'm getting a headache. My brain was fried from information overload. A hand landed gently on my forehead, followed by a sigh.
さすがにこれ以上は捜査本部に任せないと。俺たちだけで謎を解くには規模が大きいよ。
As he patted me on the head, my anxiety slowly faded.
君の本来の役割は何だっけ？
To protect the safety of Shinjuku's residents.
そうだったよね。ちゃんと覚えてて。いい子いい子。
With a satisfied smile, Okazaki removed his hand from my head. The warmth vanished too, leaving me feeling slightly alone. Thank you, Okazaki.
俺は何もしてないよ。
He always found a way to bring me back to reality, just like he did when I panicked at the scene of the fire. He considered the things that were important to me, as if they were important to him too. All he does is help me. I feel guilty about it, but it also filled me with renewed resolve. Yes, my true duty as a police officer was to ensure the safety of the public and to listen to what was in their hearts. I didn't intend to ignore the caller and the X-Day investigation, that this was a goal that I couldn't push to the background. Sugawara. If the X-Day crimes were planned substitute murders, then she had to be involved. But this all had spawned from police arrogance. I couldn't ignore that inconvenient truth. I think. I don't know. The police should have protected her from Shimizu. If they had, she never would have fallen this far. I'm going to see Rika Sugawara once more.
どうして？
Okazaki's reaction made it clear that he didn't agree with this course of action. The chance that she's involved with this crime is rather high. I think I can persuade her before the detectives catch up to her. We were running out of time. If she confessed, her sentence would be lighter. There was still a chance. If there was no evidence she acted on her own, she could have been threatened by Adonis. When I brought it up to Okazaki, he thought silently for a moment.
それは警察官としてやっちゃいけないことだよね。
When I looked up, Okazaki wasn't smiling. He was looking at me coldly.
捜査権限のない人間が容疑者に接触して事前に捜査内容を漏洩することになる。証拠隠滅や逃走の幇助って形になるよ。こっそり事件のことを調べるじゃ済まない。バレればよくてクビ、悪くて今度は君が罪に問われることになる。
But if I can just convince her to confess and turn herself in.
君は菅原梨香が事件に関与したそもそもの原因は警察にあるって思ってるんだよね。
Yes.
気持ちはわかるよ。警察の対処が甘かった事実が心苦しいのもね。でもじゃあ警察が悪かったですって謝ればどうにかなる問題じゃないでしょ。情状酌量の余地があったとしてもそれを判断するのは俺たち警察じゃない。
I know that, but
警察にも不祥事はたくさんあるよ。誤認逮捕に冤罪、捜査ミスに収賄。 もっと小さな問題なら数えきれないほど。もちろん減らす努力はすべきだけど、その全てに心を砕いてたら警察官としては生きていけない。警察は守るための組織だよ。でも何かを守るために犠牲は出る。全部守るなんてこと絶対にできない。全部選ぼうなんてことしたら逆に救えるはずだった人たちを救うことができなくなるんだ。人には役割がある。守ると決めたならそのために譲っちゃいけないものがあるはずだよ。
I couldn't think of a reply to Okazaki's coldly made points. What he was saying was logical. It was the correct mindset for a police officer. My thinking was naive and irrational. Okazaki is saying this for my sake. I understood that well. I didn't think he was being cold. But what was this? I feel detached. The idea that small sacrifice had to be made. Hesitation towards one's own duty. Killing one's ego to be part of a larger purpose. As I was moved by his unwavering conviction, I also felt a distance open up between us. My voice got caught in my dry throat, but I had to say what I was thinking. If the police ever hurt me or anyone close to me, I don't know what I'd do. Okazaki was silent for a moment. He seemed to be sizing me up. I was afraid that I'd disappoint him.
普通はそうだよね。簡単には割り切れない。
But Okazaki returned to his usual smile.
君は優しくてまっすぐな子だから。誰かの傷を自分のことのように考えられるのも本当は悪いことじゃないって思うよ。
Okazaki.
でも君の本来の役割を忘れないで。自分の願いを叶えるためには何かを切り捨てなきゃいけない時がきっと来るはずだから。
Yeah. He really had said those things solely out of concern for me. Knowing that, I couldn't simply reject his words. But I also couldn't accept them right away. Okazaki, you're strong. The words leaked out as I thought how weak I was. Okazaki's eyes went wide in surprise.
俺は強くないよ。弱いからたくさん背負えないだけ。
Then he mumbled something sadly. I recalled a conversation we'd had before.
俺が守るべきものはね、特別で、大切で、とても重くて、かけがえのないもの。
He became heartless for that which he protected. He had that determination. What about me? I imagined a pain coming from my neck. The collar under my scarf weighed on my mind. I wanted it gone. I wanted to solve the cases. I wanted to protect the people from harm as a cop. They were all my goals. I hadn't prioritized any over the others. But there'd come a time when I had to choose. Could I really make that choice?
もうこんな時間。暗いし、家まで送ってくよ。
Thank you. The usual smile and the usual words, it was like nothing had changed. I thought I'd gotten closer to his heart, and then I felt like it had moved even further away. December 9th, 10:45 a.m. The next day, I decided I'd go to Rika Sugawara's residence under the guise of a patrol again, but Mochida was next to me. And so was Okazaki for some reason. Don't ask. Mochida approached me with a confused expression. I'm not sure myself.
はじめまして。俺は警視庁警護課の岡崎圭です。
Okazaki grinned as usual, not seeming to read the situation.
その警視庁の警護課って SP ですよね。そんな方がなんで星野と知り合いなんですか？
well
いろいろありまして。
いろいろっていうのはどういう？
いろいろありまして。
Don't, Mochida, I beg of you, don't ask. He's pressuring Mochida.
それより持田さんには彼女が日頃からお世話になってるみたいでありがとうございます。
は？
What? Well, see you then. Well, you see, what kind of greeting was that? Is he acting like a relative or something? I definitely known Mochida much longer than Okazaki. I didn't know if Okazaki was doing this on purpose, but it was confusing.
あ、いや、こちらこそお世話に。っていうか、星野とはどういうご関係で？
関係。
I have a bad feeling about this. We're just acquaintances.
会って数日だけど、一気に距離が縮まった感じかな。
This bitch, this motherfucker. Okazaki, don't put it like that.
一気に。
Don't, Mochida, no, Mochida, no.
とても仲良くさせてもらってます。
そうですか。それはめでたいというかなんていう
Help
か。
me. This is just like earlier with Sakuragawa. He's completely misunderstanding.
今日の巡回は俺も同行させてもらいます。よろしくお願いします。
はい？星野、どういうことだ
？Where's my tears? Where are my tears? Wait, which one is it? It's not. No. There they are. Cry me a river, motherfucker. All I can do is mislead him by laughing. It all started earlier this morning. Oh, my throat. Jesus. December 9th, 8 a.m.
焼死体の被害者の身元が判明しました。比嘉敦36歳。前科あり、多数の女性に対しストーカー行為を繰り返し、準強姦罪での逮捕歴があります。実刑4年の判決を受けており、刑期を終えて半年前に出所しています。
The victim was a stalker, which makes him related to the July homicide. Rika Sugawara could be brought in for questioning today. I have to go see her. Once she was under investigation HQ's control, it would be difficult to meet with her. I didn't intend to obstruct the investigation, but for some reason I couldn't let this go. There was no doubt that Rika Sugawara held the key linking the stalking incidents.
捜査権限のない人間が容疑者に接触して事前に捜査内容を漏洩することになる。証拠隠滅や逃走の幇助って形になるよ。こっそり事件のことを調べるじゃ済まない。バレればよくてクビ、悪くて今度は君が罪に問われることになる。
It'll be all right. I know. Going to see her today? I am. I'll be okay. I won't do anything crazy. No, but you have your job. Told you, right? Let me protect you. No! Honestly, the chances were high that Rika Sugawara was involved in some form. I had to be careful in case the darkest scenario came to pass. It would be a relief if Okazaki was with me. Could I ask you to do that? Of course, we're on friendly terms now. So obviously I wanted to help. Friendly. In Okazaki's mind, we were apparently now friendly with each other. I have seen him quite a lot over the past few days. I was bewildered, but there was a happiness inside me that I couldn't hide. When I read his message, it unconsciously made me relax. We still didn't know each other very well, but it made me happy to know that he considered us to be on good terms. Maybe I'm a little embarrassed. Thank you. See you soon.
よくわからんが、SP の方についていただけるならありがたい。失礼のないようにするんだぞ、星野。
Yes, sir.
では、岡崎警部補、よろしくお願いします。
I felt terrible seeing Mochida have to humble himself like that. Now that I think about it, Okazaki was an SP officer from a central HQ, so his jurisdiction supersided ours. His rank was assistant inspector. Maybe I had been acting a bit too casually towards him around the office.
俺は持田さんとも仲良くなりたいな。だって彼女の先輩なんだし。
Boy, if you don't.
いえ、仲良くとかとんでもない。恐縮です。
My lord. Mochida, I'm so sorry. I mentally apologized. When we arrived at Rika Sakura's apartment, I took a deep breath to calm myself down. Mochida stood by the building's entrance. Okazaki was lurking in the shadows down the hall, just in case something happened. He concealed himself at a distance that was just far enough away that he could still hear what was going on. I checked that we were ready, and then rang the doorbell. Sugawara came out when she saw that it was me on the monitor. Ah, thank you for the other day. I just wanted to talk today.
そろそろ来ると思ってたわ。
Huh? Something was wrong. She was in an uncannily good mood.
ニュースを見たの。昨日の焼死事件。被害者の身元が判明したそうね。
She seemed quite happy about this news.
あの男が何をしたか知ってる？女性を付け狙うだけじゃなくて、ゴミを漁ったり、盗撮したり、手紙を勝手に開封したりしてたのよ。盗聴器で生活音すべてを録音して、わざわざそれを送りつけもしたわね。それから自分の体液を玄関になすりつけていったこともあったわ。ご丁寧に盗撮した写真付きでね。ネットではあることないことを書き連ね、勤務先には年上の男と不倫をしていると嘘の密告電話をしたわ。ああ、それから大量の手紙を送りつけたりもしていたわね。安っぽい愛の言葉を並べた手紙。
Did that happen to you too? She answered with a smile. I knew it. I grew tense as I connected the dots in my head. She had been harassed by Kiga, yesterday's burn victim. Then that would definitely link her both to both arson murders and to the crime in July. In other words, she was with Adonis.
あの人が私を救ってくれたの。ただ泣いて逃げ惑うだけの日々をあの人が終わらせてくれたのよ。
So the man you love is...
あら、あなたにも愛する人ができたの？
I was taken aback at her sudden off-topic question. Rika Sugawara squinted at me for a while, then she smiled.
そうだったのね。何か変わった気がしたのよ。私はね、初恋なの。だから嬉しい気持ちと同じくらい怖さもあって。 ねえ、あなたの愛する人はどんな人？その
Oh shit.
ねえ、あなたの愛する人はどんな人？
This is probably gonna be like the last thing we do before we wrap stream today.
どんな気持ち？
Sugawara blushed as she asked me. She looked kind of like she was a schoolgirl gossiping. Certainly, this conversation was clearly going nowhere. Maybe she was caught up in her obsession because her demeanor had completely changed from earlier. She slided up to me with a friendly look. This could be my chance to get intel from her. Well, the guy I like... is very reliable. He's very reliable.
そうなの。
I just said the first thing that came to mind, but Sugawara giggled innocently.
ねえ、場所を変えて話さない？どうせ近くに男がいるんでしょ？
Oh, well... Hesitating, I glanced towards where Okazaki was hiding, but nothing happened. He should tail us without letting himself be noticed. Thinking that, I nodded. Oh, goodness gracious. Please tell me that did not get picked up on the mic! Sound effects in the background. Leave me alone! Sugawara guided me through the back door of the apartment complex. I figured Okazaki would explain things to Mochida. I couldn't let this chance escape now that I had gotten Sugawara to be more positive.
こっちよ。
Okay. A few more minutes. We walked through several narrow paths in the residential area until we finally arrived at a park. This is... I could still remember it clearly. Crimson flames. A still blackened figure. Withering heat.
そこのベンチに座りましょう。
Sugawara shouldn't have known what happened here, but she calmly sat down on the exact bench. A man had burned to death here yesterday. The police cordon had already been removed. But it was still being patrolled by police. Why did she bring me here? I was bewildered, but I sat next to her. It would be difficult for Okazaki to eavesdrop on us here, no matter where he had hidden himself. I hope this all works out.
私ね、恋バナってしたことないのよ。初恋だって言ったでしょ？付き合ってくれるかしら？
Love story? A potential murderer was getting excited about gossiping with me in the park. This was all too surreal. Relax. I have to stay calm and coax out her story.
その人のことを考えるとね、今までの人生がどうでもよくなるの。私はこの人のために生まれてきたんだって心から思ったわ。その人のためなら何だってできる気がするの。
What's he like?
そうね。優しい人。実はね、その人のことあまりよく知らないの。でもいいの。運命の人だって分かってるから。だってあの人は私の神様なんだもの。
Sorry, I'm laughing at Kami-sama. It's an inside joke with a few friends of mine. Don't worry about it. In what way is he kind?
私の悲しみに共感してくれたわ。最初は私が受けた傷なんて分かりっこない。口先だけで同情してるんでしょって疑った。でも違ったのよ。あの人は私の悲しみも苦しみも全部 理解してくれていたわ。まるで自分のことのように悲しんで泣いてくれた。諦めなくていい、怯えなくていい、もう悲しまなくて済むようにって私に力を与えてくれた。
You've been through a lot.
そうね。今となってはもうどうでもいいことだけど、毎日世界のすべてが敵に見えたわ。ここ昨日の焼死事件の現場だってあなたなら知ってるでしょ？
Yes, I do.
さっきも言った飢餓という男はね、たくさんの女性に愛を訴えていたの。殺したいほど愛してるんですって。でもおかしいわよね。それほど愛する人が何人もいるなんて。彼の愛は自己満足で軽かったのよ。なのにあれだけのことをされて許せるわけがない。毎日毎日どこに行っても監視されて、その日の私の行動をすべて報告してきて、ポストには毎日分厚い愛の手紙。何度引っ越しても、何度警察に訴えても、何度も何度も何度も何度もついてきた。
Sugawara's voice grew increasingly grim. I could hear the madness sweeping into her voice as she revealed her past fears. Just listening to this is painful. Even Ogata must have felt that same massive sense of despair. Despair? And someone had taken advantage of it. Adonis, probably. You're a victim. You deserve sympathy for everything that happened to you in the past. So don't add anything else to the list of what you've...
ねえ、あなたの好きな人は？頼りがいがあるって言ってたわよね。他にはどんなところがいいの
？Sugawara wasn't paying attention to me. And with that, actually, we're gonna call it there for the stream. Give me a second. Because I feel like if I go any further, then we're just gonna have issues. And I don't feel like dealing with them right now. Alright. And with that, we're gonna call it there for the stream. Let me go ahead and get things transitioned. Okay, that's still playing. Okay, and then we'll transition back to the VTuber. Alright. So again, thank you all so much for coming to the stream. As a reminder that as of next week, my streams will be shortened to about an hour to 2 hours. But Fire Emblem may still remain 3 hours, just because it's a long game and it's hard to get through on my own. Therefore, it probably will stay pretty long. But again, I will have probably playing with some friends next week, so it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, with that, I am gonna call it there for the day. Thank you all so much again for coming to my stream. As a small indie VTuber, it means a lot to me, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night. With that, I'm gonna go get some food before everyone starts yelling at me. Have a lovely night. Bye!